right, welcome back to the Built to Grow podcast. I'm your host, Tim Lyons, joined by Randy Angston in a new studio.
Yes,
what
sir.
is happening here, man?
Yeah, a little different, huh?
You guys did one in this room last week, but I wasn't here. And now that I'm here, I like it. We've got new decor.
Yeah.
Check us out, guys, on the YouTubes when you get a chance. But you're going to start seeing some changes. And I think you guys mentioned it a little bit last week. Like, look, Profit Marketing Solutions, Built to Grow, has been our name, our flag, our thing for a decade. I mean, since 2016. 2016, we became a company at Profit. We were a marketing company, and Marketing Solutions was part of our name. We started looking at that the last couple of years, like, man, we really should make a change. We didn't know really what to do or how to do it. So kind of making a quick announcement here. You're going to start seeing a lot more of gymbusinesscoach.com. That's going to be our new name of our business. Doing business as, right? DBA. Gymbusinesscoach.com is exactly what we do. We're business coaches for gyms.
Yep.
Go figure. And we got the domain at gymbusinesscoach.com. I said, why don't we use that? And so that's kind of like how we kind of came to this point. But you're going to start seeing some cool stuff. We've got a content studio here, guys. You're going to start seeing some workshops, some live stream stuff we're going to be doing. I invested a lot of money in this room and excited to kind of share it with you. But that's down the road. You'll see some of that stuff in January. What we want to talk about today, guys, is year end. Like 2025 is coming to a close. By the time you're hearing this episode, it's got to be the last week or two. And we're kind of like taking a look back. What did we notice? What was the trends? What did we see? What exactly do we believe is going to happen now and going forward? And what have we been saying this whole time, right? So, one of the things that if you just listen to, I guess, the years in the past, I don't know if you're a longtime listener or if you're just hearing us for this first time, we've been kind of flying this flag of like holistic, services, right? Strength training, but recovery, but, nutrition, blood work, hormones, massage, stretch, all that's been kind of what we believe was the trends. And you're starting to see it all come to fruition now. One of our good, one of our clients, Evans, has got CNU Stretch. He's taken off, bringing stretch therapy into gyms. We're seeing Inception Health with the blood work and hormone panels and all that stuff. It's really as a bolt-on. Obviously, nutrition's been there for the long term as well as supplements, but strength training being the foundation of the fitness programs, that is not changing. That is what we've been talking about. And really, the one thing we were talking about before this episode was like trends versus foundations. Yeah. And while strength training is the foundation, how you train strength training is not necessarily going to be a trend, because we believe semi-private training has been the foundation for the last decade. Yeah. And now literally you're seeing everybody else catch up. Everybody's talking about semi-private training, how to train in a small group strength training or whatever you want to call it. It's become mainstream, and it's like, guys, this has been a decade now we've been flying this flag, and we still are flying it. And we believe this. We believe, you better move your model to this now, before even the big box gyms start to catch up, right?
Yeah, and that brings up a good point, right? Like the old saying of like the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. Yeah. The second best is right now. Look at your town, look at your market. Yes, strength training is becoming part of the conversation. It's becoming more recognized in the marketplace, even by our consumers, but it still hasn't like taken full effect in the gym settings. So you don't see semi-private gyms popping up in droves like we did with large group training and things like that at the same rate. Obviously it requires a little bit more equipment, a little bit more acumen when it comes to delivering that service and being able to train somebody that method. But take that for what it is. You still have time. You're still not behind the eight ball. It's not the red ocean to jump into. And at the end of the day, to your point, that's a foundational way of training. It's not a trend, right? Strength training isn't going away. The principles of building muscle sure, there's been progressions in what we know and how, but it's not changing to the point of, coming and going like other forms Before the show, we were talking about some of the other brands that are trends, and they might pull from strength training, but they do it in a unique way. I'll use CrossFit as an example, right? Like there's strength training components in CrossFit. There's endurance components, there's Metcon components, but they wrapped it up and they put their own spin on how to deliver that to the marketplace. Now, if you had a gym that was doing any one of those foundational components, aside from being an affiliate of CrossFit, I think you probably are a little better off than you are now if you became an affiliate and you kind of hooked your cart to that horse, if that makes sense, because you're at the whim of the success of CrossFit and the brand itself. And that was kind of the message that I wanted to get across, was like, be careful about the trends versus the foundational components of what you deliver to the marketplace. But yeah, I mean, if you think about how long we've been talking about this, it's been a decade. I mean, as soon as we started the podcast, we were training this way in your gym long before that.
Yeah.
We've believed that this is the direction. And one last thing, when it comes to the conversation about semi-private versus small group, for example, there is again, we don't have like a book of nomenclature in this industry. It'd be nice. Someone needs to do that, like the encyclopedia of fitness, right? But small group being a limited number of individuals, typically still doing a workout of the day or a WOD, just progressions and regressions, weights, reps, and sets. Semi-private takes it one step further, and this is where we believe the value really comes into play, is the individualized program for each client, right? So we do 6-to-1. Each of those 6 clients are on their own program,
right,
irrespective of just the progressions and regressions. You know, we're not walking in and everyone's not doing the same workout. It's completely different from, all 6 of those individuals. Or it could be.
Right, and that's where gyms get it wrong, right? Yep. They just do large group WOD style, everybody one size fits all with less people. And expecting the consumer to double or even sometimes triple what they're paying the gym, and they're just not seeing the value there. You mentioned trends a second ago. And, it's funny, there's another trend coming right out of the CrossFit world. It's called high rocks, right? If you've probably seen this. And this would be case in point trend, right? It's a trend. It's a style of workout. It's this running and then functional training, kind of like alternating competition. You're starting to see competitions pop up. You're starting to see like high rocks, affiliated gyms, and we're certified in high, like, just really be really careful, guys. Yeah, it's a trend right now, and you may actually get a little bit of a bump of people looking for this, but eventually it's going to fade away, and you're going to be switching again, right? Something else is going to come up. You're going to hook your cart to that. It's just like you kind of lose your identity. You mentioned CrossFit. It's exactly like that. Not to hate. I believe that there's a lot of good in what I'm seeing in this high rocks movement. You're getting people moving again, excited, especially if they were in the cross kind of fizzled out and now they're looking for something new. This is a perfect step for those clients looking to get back moving again. It's the competition aspect, it's the camaraderie, it's the group aspect. So a lot of good stuff there. But at the end of the day, it's a workout. It's a trend. It's a thing. It's not the foundational strength training, strength and conditioning that you could be hooking your cart, your whole gym around that model and being there for decades. Yeah. Decades. Look, you go back to like bodybuilding and then functional training, and then, it's kind of all comes back to strength training again.
I've seen a lot of like our friend Monica, right? I see a lot of those old 90s weightlifting videos, right? Of, like when women's bodybuilding hit the,
was taking off.
Yeah, it's funny watching like all of that stuff like start to, again, it's trending. It's, and I don't know why all of a sudden, strength training, probably just because we're seeing the results. Like we're going back to the foundation. Yeah. But it's funny watching like the 90s bodybuilding type stuff be just as relevant in today's society, as it was back then. And I think that's the premise of the conversation is if you took away the name of CrossFit or High Rocks and you looked at what they do, it's those components are what we've associated our brand and built like a proprietary way of training around our method of strength training, around how we deliver strength training. but we didn't attach ourselves to an existing or another agency like a
third party brand, a third party name or brand.
And that's, I think, where the trend becomes slippery. You know what I mean? Like you said, you're probably going to get an initial boost by.
Yeah, but it's going to fizzle out. I mean, do it if you want. Like, the point of the message is, it's like, why not own something instead of worrying about, like, if the founder of Hyrox is in a sex scandal and then all of a sudden nobody wants to do, you know what I mean? It's like, why don't you just do your own thing?
Yep.
You know, kind of going back and looking back in time and looking at 2025, you know what else was such a big deal for the fitness industry was GLP-1s.
Yep. Good call.
Mounjaro and Ozempic and all these ones that kind of came out, and peptides are flying right now. So even though the GLP-1 was a peptide, I feel like that was the introduction.
Sure.
What is this peptide thing? And then everybody starts looking at it. And really quick, guys, peptides, again, another bolt-on potential global wellness style thing. It's that's also the Wild West right now. Where you get your product from, like, are you going to be liable as a gym to, like, hey, you know, you're supplying or telling somebody to put injectables into their body, and it's like, do you want to put your name on that? Like, do you want to take the risk or the repercussions of that? I mean, I don't know if I do.
Yeah,
I feel like it's literally the Wild West. It's like a laboratory right now.
It is, for sure.
You can get peptides delivered to your door on these little vials, and you mix it with water, and you got these needles, and it's like, what is happening right now? And it's weird that it's just like ushered in.
Yeah. Well, we saw, like, you know, was it a couple of years ago with SARMs? Like, started to hit the market, like that, and then right away, boom, government came in and said, all right, we got to shut this down, you know.
But they're not doing it with peptides for some reason. It's interesting.
They're probably incentivizing some of that somewhere, right?
Okay, so you look at these GLP-1s and you look at, you know, like, basically everybody in your gym was taking it for a while. Whether or not they're still taking it, I don't know. There's now all these side effects that are starting to pop their ugly heads out, and it's like, oh, great, you know, what did you do to yourself? You know, your stomach lining, or you're paralyzed, you know, your digestive tract and all this stuff going on. It's like, I don't know if you could ever stop a client from they're going to do what they're going to do. That literally was the easy button.
Yep.
If we're talking about, like,
to get a result.
If we're talking about what's the word? The effort it takes to get the result. What is that? What am I trying to say there? It's the God dang it. Anyone. Anyways, keep going. If it's very hard for you to get a result, it's not appealing, right?
Sure.
Yeah, it's like unappealing. And what GLP-1s was like really appealing. I just got to put this shot in my stomach in a couple times a week or whatever the hell the thing is, and I'm going to lose weight. Yeah, I'm signing me up for that.
Yeah, exactly, right? Path of least resistance.
Right, and so now you're seeing the results in some of the studies coming out. We're like, man, 60% of that weight loss was actually lean muscle mass, and you are fatter than you were if you're taking it from a true body fat percentage aspect. You lost more lean mass than you did body fat mass, and their basal metabolic rate is down into nothing. And as soon as they stop, weight's going to start coming back on. It's just like this side effect, and I don't understand. I mean, I do understand. I know exactly why, because what we're selling here is hard work. What GLP-1s is selling is the easy button, right? So if you, like, in 2025, you had to become an expert in all these drugs that your clients were taking, and hopefully educating them in a way where it was like, hey, you're harming yourself, but we can help you reverse some of this muscle wasting and all that stuff in your gym. I think back to strength training, right?
I was just going to say the same thing. And what was the solution for those that were taking it? Strength training, right? And so I remember when it hit the market and it became the thing, and all of us kind of had the internal conflict because, you know, being in the fitness industry, knowing what a gym and consistency from doing strength training and the putting in the work does for the result, it's there, right? It's going to stand the test of time. We know that that's the result that clients are ultimately looking for. It's a difficult path, but we had the choice of, you know, do we plant our flag in the ground and say, you know, we don't believe in the GLP-1s, we don't want our clients taking it. It didn't matter what we thought, they were going to do it anyways. So as a business, I remember, like, we kind of shifted and we're like, well, if they're going to do it anyways, how can we best support them in it? and it went back to that strength training component, right? Educating the client that it's muscle mass that you're losing. I can't wait for us to finally get rid of a scale. Like the scale is probably the worst thing
worst tool
for measuring, health and results and things like that. But at the end of the day, that's what society
looks at. That's what they've been trained to
look at. We always go back to the number on the scale.
Right.
And so client was getting that dopamine dump when the numbers were dropping off the scale, not knowing that it was exactly, it was hurting them in the long run. Bring in that education and then pair it with the solution that we provide to help combat that. And it could be a win-win in the end of the game.
Right. And kind of the final thing that I want to kind of mention here, and we had a guest on in Keynote Tech and really hit home, and I've mentioned this on another episode as well. I think the biggest thing that could come out of 2025 going into 26, again, getting rid of the measurement of the weight, right? Looking maybe at body fat, but movement quality.
Yes.
I love the idea of owning movement quality for our clients as a result that we can deliver on. I love that idea because there is literal things we do that have a direct result in movement quality that say weight loss we can't really control because it's outside of the the 1 hour that you get with them, right?
Yeah.
So I love the idea of owning that metric as a deliverable. A promise, something that we can promise to the consumer. You come to us, your movement quality scores, movement quality in general, range of motion is going to increase because of the work that we do together. We can own that. And as an industry, I believe if we can just adopt that, and we can probably also adopt strength. I don't know if we can adopt or own muscle mass.
Sure.
Because of the GLP-1 alone, right? You'd put that in your body, we just reversed everything.
In diet. There are things outside of our control for sure.
But yeah, movement quality and strength. I believe, nutrition has to do with strength and recovery and stuff. But I think we own those two metrics as an industry. We can keep clients a lot longer.
Nailed it.
Than the transformational mindset of a weight loss kind of goal. You know what I mean? And so I think that's what I would love to push out into this podcast and to all the gym owners listening. Like, you can't really control what your clients do. You could try outside the gym. Like, they're gonna stuff their face or go on a binge and go on a vacation and booze up and eat a bunch of cupcakes for 2 months behind your back, and then come in and be like, you didn't get me results. Like that. That's kind of you're kind of in a catch-22 there.
Everybody wants accountability until they're held accountable.
Yeah. And so like we discussed the transformational versus lifestyle client, which we all and everybody listening loves that lifestyle client, the client that's their only goal is to come in and work out today, and they don't want to get on the scale and they want to be held accountable and they don't want to talk about the Cancun, Mexico trip where they went off the rails. They just want to be appreciated for coming in today.
Yep.
And we can own that. We can own movement quality. We can probably own strength if we got a little bit deeper.
And you nailed it with the retention aspect, because at the end of the day, your promise to the consumer, your brand promise, what you bring to the table, if you can deliver on that consistently, like a movement quality, like strength, the things that we can control outside, on the other side of it would be the weight loss and the short-term results focused client. We can't control all of those things, and if we associate our brand promise with the controllables we have, every time we execute that, we reassure that client that they're in the right place.
Sure.
Right? We can consistently show them a result that is in our control, aside from the things that traditionally we've always associated ourselves as gyms and an industry with, and just using use large group, for example. The reason that there is so much turnover and retention issues in that is because you can't control all of that, right? MedCon has its legs, but somebody can screw all that up with their diet. They can get to a point where they're metabolically conditioned to, how much greater conditioning are they going to get in that realm? That the results start to fade, and therefore the association with the brand that's delivering that result isn't as sticky, right? Yeah. Like Zach uses the term, diminishing value over time. The law of diminishing value. You can consistently increase somebody's quality of movement. You can
Movement quality.
consistently.
I'm also looking at maybe even performance or speed, or for athletes, you can kind of, you can promise some things there.
Sure.
You can promise some things there for athletes, but I guess what we're really talking about is general population. Pop. Yeah, clients like the 40 and over crowd that's just looking to just feel better, right?
Yeah.
And so, anyways, you know, if I'm going to hook myself to a horse or a cart or whatever, I'm going strength training, and it's always been the foundation of everything that we're doing. Other trends pull from it anyway. It's like, why don't you just own that, and then movement?
Yep,
movement. You know, look, guys. There's trends in this industry. You can go in any different direction that you want to go, obviously, but you have to look at the bigger picture, the long-term aspect, the things that we just talked about on the show, like literally these things. Do you want to keep the clients for long term? Or are you just looking to get a client a quick result and then get the next client in, get them a quick result? Because when it comes to business, you could be the best trainer. You can get the better. In fact, the better the trainer you are, sometimes the faster you lose a client, because you got that weight off them so quick, right? And so I guess the long tail message here is, you know, like, look into the long-term future of your business. Who's paying the most, staying the longest, who's the most joy to train, who is the easiest to convert and get out of the market, and the ones that are going to stay longer and pay you longer and build that relationship with your gym. Find those clients and find the things you can deliver on over the long term, and you're going to be in business a long time.
Amen.
Right? All right, guys, that's it for this wrap up of 2025. A lot hasn't changed, while a lot has, right? Like, there's been some peptides and GLP-1 stuff coming into the industry, and now we're getting to see this trends with high rocks. But in the global grand scheme of things, nothing's changed. It's back to strength training. It's semi-private, and it's that long-term lifestyle client that you're looking for. Hopefully that helps you kind of reevaluate going into 2026. We got a big year ahead of us. I'm seeing potential for massive growth, and this is a great time to be in this industry, guys. If you need any help, link will be right down in the show notes. Get a hold of us. We'd love to help you guys. That's it for this episode. Until next time, keep changing lives. We'll see you on the next show. Bye. All right. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Built to Grow podcast. If you want more help growing your business, join our free Facebook group, Profit Accelerator, helping training gyms grow to $30,000 a month and beyond. We'd love to see you there. Go check out the show notes for the link and keep building something great. And we'll see you in the next episode.